So a few months back I did a video, and the title of that video was "These are the best feeling irons, end of." And that particular brand that I was hitting has actually brought out a new iron, and this is what I've got in my hands, and first instincts, it looks absolutely incredible. So I'm going to test it in this video. It's a little bit of a twist to this iron, so stay tuned to learn a little bit more. But then I'm going to also put it up against my trusty Wilson staff model irons to have a little bit of a comparison. Okay, and there we go, beautiful feel to that golf club, very nice sort of ball flight, and that's what really took my breath away really when I tried these in that previous model. And the brand I'm talking about is Vega. Japanese forging is what Vega is all about, and these are the Mizar Pro irons, blade irons, but with a little bit of a twist, and we're going to go into that a little bit more detail, but just take a look at that from that back angle. Looks beautiful. So until I got my hands on those irons in that previous video, I've never actually hit a Vega iron. I've heard lots about them, seen them around, but never actually hit the iron. In my eyes was a premium product, a very sort of high price point, and for a reason. You know, the quality of these is second to none. Japanese forging, it is going to obviously bump that price up. The price I don't think is as expensive as it used to be, but it's still up in that premium area. So Mizar Pro, beautiful sleek looking bladed iron, which is what we're sort of looking at. But then when you flip this over and look at the sole of the golf club, it's not a mega thin sole that sometimes you associate with those bladed irons. And then when you turn it around and look in the toe section, we've got a screw in the end of the toe. Now actually this is a bar that sits inside the head right across the bottom of the golf club, so you can unscrew that and a bar will pop out. You can actually take it out and pop it back in. So that's obviously helping to, there's some different weights in those bars as you work through those irons. We're going to talk a little bit more about that, but just looking at it in setup position here, and again bear in mind this is a bladed iron, it doesn't look like a real blade in that playing position. Now that might be a good thing, it might be a bad thing for you as a personal look on the golf club, but it's quite a long blade length. There's quite a lot of toe section there, and the top line is sort of medium to thinnish. It's not mega thin, so it doesn't look scary is probably what I'm trying to say down by that golf ball. Looks quality, looks premium, does look nice. Just a little bit pulley again on that one, but flight wise, very, very nice. The sound is great, you can tell it's forged, it feels soft. So this 7-iron I've got here is 32 degrees of loft, so they're not proper traditional loftings. Again, you would expect maybe when you see a bladed iron, you're going to look at maybe 34, even 35 degrees of loft. This isn't, it's 32, so there's still some ball speed there, and I think that's not a bad thing for a lot of golfers. It just helps to keep that little bit of speed up. Superb, beautiful shot that one. That's a better shot. Little bit of a baby cut on that one. I'll probably have a bit of a different spin number there with that type of shot. Yeah, tiny bit. So 5,500 there, carry 174. So probably first instincts there with this, yes, from the back it looks like a blade, that might scare you, but then when you look at the sole and that playing position, it fills you with a little bit of confidence. So I would say it's like a blade with a bit of help in there in a way. And then when you look at that weight port that we can see in the sole, which runs right across the bottom of the sole into the head, and there's a bar that sits in that weight port there with a screw that obviously holds it in position. And that bar material changes as you work through the iron. So in those longer irons, it's tungsten bar, so obviously a little bit heavier, helps with to get that little bit of launch. And then when you move into the mid irons, that becomes a titanium bar, so a little bit lighter. And then when you get into those short irons, it's an aluminium bar, which is obviously lighter again. So where you need it, maybe a little bit help in those longer irons to flight it, we've got that heavy weight, and it progressively changes as you work through the set. So really trying to sort of dial in that launch window for each of those irons as you work through the set. So even though the feel in that VSC model iron that I did in that video a few months ago blew my mind in terms of that feel off the club face, the look of it just didn't quite sit right with my eye. Just a little bit of a, maybe too bigger appearance down by that golf ball. It was a bit more of a cavity iron, to be fair, so you're naturally going to see that. This is a little bit more nearer to what I would like to sort of see visually down by that golf ball. So that was a little bit of a toey shot there, so that wasn't perfect on the strike. Be interesting to sort of see if there's any drop off there at all. Yeah, and there isn't at all actually. And that was a little bit of a toey contact there, but ball speed kept up, so maybe a little bit of forgiveness. Again, you look at that blade, you think, I've got no leeway here. I'm going to have to hit the middle of the golf club, otherwise it's dead. That is pretty forgiving for a bladed iron. So going back to the head, it's a one-piece forged from a variant of a soft carbon steel, and the face is precisely CNC milled for ultra precision on those grooves. Okay, so there's some shots hit with the Vega Mizar Pro iron. I'm going to hit some quick shots now with my own Wilson Staff model iron, the blade. We're just going to compare a few numbers between the two. So many of you know these have been in the bag for probably nearly 4 years now, which is a long time. And to be honest, they're still in the range 4 years on. So credit to Wilson there for keeping model in the range for so long. So let's look at some differences here between these two irons, just as that blade versus blade scenario. And I think definitely a little bit more compact with the Wilson. They're a little bit slim on that top line. The toe section isn't quite as bulky, or when I say bulky, as big from that polished area from where the grooves end to the end of the toe. Top line just flows a little bit nicer out of the hosel for me personally, so a little bit more of a compact head. Just flipping them over and looking at the soles there, the Wilson definitely thinner in that sole, so as I say, probably that little bit more forgiveness maybe we could see with the Vega iron. Right, there's about shots hit with the Wilson Staff model. Bear in mind, 7.9, that's 34 degrees of loft, so it's 2 degrees weaker than the Vega. Okay, and really think, looking at the numbers there, it's very difficult to split, isn't it? I mean, we're maybe just seeing some subtle differences, and probably just that 2 degrees of loft, just changing things a little bit there as well. So club head speed pretty much identical. See, ball speed just a hair quicker with the Vega, probably that 2 degrees stronger on the loft, just getting that speed out a little bit quicker, and you can see that launch is just a degree lower, probably again with that loft. Spins very similar at 5,500 there. Carry 175 against 177, so there's hardly anything in it with the Wilson. Probably just give me a little bit more peak height, as you can see, a little bit more descent angle, just probably again through that little bit of extra loft. So going back to this Vega Mizar Pro iron blade, but I think it's got that bit of forgiveness in there. It's not a traditional blade by any means. You've got some help with that tungsten, titanium, aluminium weighting bar in the bottom of the golf club there. A little bit of a more confident inspiring club behind that golf ball. Post comments down below, let me know your thoughts on Vega as a brand. Love to hear them as always. Appreciate watching the video, and hopefully we'll catch up with you all very soon.